I'm not totally on board the Niners got a real one with Isaac Guerendo. I
Mm.
can't say that yet. The Cowboys defense was historically bad against the run. It was more efficient to run on the Dallas Cowboys than it was to pass on the Dallas Cowboys for almost every team in the league. That's how bad their run defense is. Now, I'm not saying Isaac Guerendo didn't have a good game. He did. But I'm just saying I want to see him do it against a team that's actually competent against the run before I get on that train.
I think that's fair. He's had 37 carries, and
Right.
one of them went for 76 yards. If you took away that, I mean, I'm sure his numbers wouldn't be like all world. I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but 37 carries, 1 touchdown, 2 fumbles. He's got a little bit more to prove. That being said, I like him. I like him way more than I thought I would. When they drafted him, I was like, Kyle traded up for another one. Like he didn't even start in college. Perfect. But they're like, no, this guy's the next Raheem Mostert. And they said it with their chest. And I was like, oh, that's quite a comparison. And then they gave him his number. It's like, that's a lot of pressure. And he looks kind of like a stronger Raheem Mostert. And Mostert didn't even become Mostert until he was like 29 years old. So maybe I kind of like him. I feel like he deserves 5, 6, 7 carries a game just to see if he's going to break one.
He has the physical abilities. He's fast as hell. I kept saying this after he was drafted because I was so excited about it. In the last 20 years, the only 2 people at the combine to run as fast as he did at his weight are him and DK Metcalf. Like that is a level of physical specimen that not a lot of people have. So I loved all that. The thing I see from him that kind of frustrates me is I feel like he doesn't break a lot of tackles. If he can get space, he can accelerate away from people. But if you make contact with him, he goes down. And that is not what Jordan Mason does. And that is not what Christian McCaffrey does. So that's just a difference. I'd like to see more tackle breaking from Isaac Guerendo.
Well, according to Pro Football Reference, which is just one of many places that tracks this stuff, and there's no consensus, but they have him at 0 broken tackles through the season right now. So I agree. But I mean, again, what I like about him is now the Niners have 3 running backs who are all different and complement each other. McCaffrey, Mason, Guerendo are all different. And this is the guy who just has the home run speed, who makes 0 cuts or 1 cut. And if the hole is there, he better see it. And if he does, it's a touchdown. Nice to have a guy like that on your team.
He is fast, man. Some of the clips I've seen of him going through the hole, it is like crazy how fast he is. It is an absolute weapon.
Also, if you're going to have George Kittle, who is a weapon as a blocker on the edge of your formation, it's nice to have one running back who can really get out there and press the issue on the outside, because that's not Mason. Mason is cut back quickly, get to the A-gap, get to the backside, get downhill, and that works for him. McCaffrey, he's great and well-rounded, but he doesn't have 4-3 burst like that. Like that's Mostert, Guerendo stuff. And when Mostert was in his prime, sometimes there would be plays where he would just take the ball and run straight out of bounds. Not even make a cut and gain 7 yards. Never get touched. And that was very much just like George Kittle being incredible and Mostert being able to take advantage.
It does seem like a little bit of a cheat code, right? Like he can maybe get another few yards where maybe somebody else wouldn't. And those yards make a difference, man. So the more you can do, the more diverse this rushing attack can be. I think you're going to see a lot of Guerendo and Mason, even if McCaffrey does come back. I don't think it's going to be like the straight up Christian McCaffrey show if he comes back, because they are conscious of the overuse factor.
What I would like to see with Kyle, like here's my quality control challenge for Kyle. Kyle, since you're in your bag right now and you're feeling yourself, you got an extra week, how about some screens for Guerendo? I would like to see you scheme up. He doesn't have to run a route. But, I mean, no one's looking at Guerendo. You could have Debo go in motion one way, Kittle go in motion one way, fake it to him, and then a screen back to the backside to Guerendo. That's a potential touchdown. Why not give it a shot? I feel like Andy Reid would.
I hope we see that. I think there's definite opportunity for that.
They could run so many more screens than they are, and they have the personnel to dominate with that.
I mean, if you're going to run screens to Debo, which I agree with, because that's where he's best, like you could dial some of those up for Guerendo.
Pearsall, Cowing, Guerendo, all would be devastating. Even Mason.
Poor Jacob Cowing still can't. I mean, they gave an end around to a wide receiver, and it was Ricky Pearsall instead of.
It's like, oh, Jacob, you just caught a 45-yard pass. Get on the freaking bench. We'll see you in maybe a year.
I will. Pearsall looks good, man. He
Yeah.
looks good. On that play where Brock got drilled, he is wide
Yeah, he
open.
is.
If Guerendo just chipped the defender a little bit, that would have been a huge play. So I do like what I see from him so far. Hopefully he can keep it up.
I thought his most impressive play was that jet sweep. Like, oh, you're explosive. That was a nice little burst you got there. Because so far he's in the slide, he's catching 7-yard passes, he's having to dive because the ball placement isn't that great. So it's hard to say, like, are you going to be an explosive playmaker? And then he does that. It's like, oh, yep. Yeah, probably will be. Now, I don't know if he can like line up on the ball, but I don't think you want him to be an X receiver on the ball. It seems like if he's in the slot, you can put him in motion. I think that's kind of how you want to use him.
I think I would like to see him used that way,
Yeah.
frankly. Give him more versatility. I don't know if you remember, I don't even know how much you got to see him in camp, but like everyone that talks about him says, like, he's not that fast. And then you look it up, it's like, I think he ran a 4.41. That
4.4.
seems pretty fast to me. Like,
And he had like a 40-yard vertical leap. Like, I mean, a 40-inch vertical leap. He just tested off the charts at the combine.
yeah, but maybe he's one of those guys that, 4.41. Maybe he runs and plays slower than his speed. I don't know, but everyone's always like, he's not that explosive. And I'm like, he friggin' should be.
Yeah, he's 185 pounds, and you look at him, you're like, are you going to go over the middle? Can you really be a gadget guy? Can you run the ball? Like, he seems like it. It seems like he has no fear. It seems like he actually has that kind of skill set, and he didn't really do any training camp. He was out most of the time with the shoulder injury. When he was there for 4 or 5 days, he wasn't doing one-on-one, so it was hard to really see what he could bring to the table. But like now that it's tackle football, it's like, oh, you're a gadget guy. Interesting. Okay.
It's interesting to see how they kind of develop that going forward. A couple of super chats we'll get to. All day, every day. Kim says, I want to see the Cap haters hate Bosa now. That has been very divisive. It's been all my chats all week, people talking about it. My mentions have been full of the whole Bosa Kaepernick thing. It was like, we didn't really.
That's why it's kind of unfortunate that it happened. It's like, it's just destined to overshadow everything.
Yes.
It just is.
Speaking of things overshadowing things, All-Star Luna says, Grant, are you going to reach out to Mooney Ward after what happened? If anyone is unaware, Mooney Ward's 23-month-old daughter passed away this week. Just tragic, devastating news. Are you planning to reach out to Mooney Ward?
I already did. And I will go talk to him in the locker room, but I don't want to make that public. But yeah, of course.
That hit me hard yesterday. Not going to lie. It's just, and then to hear, I think it was Kyle or John on KMBR today said that everything was okay, that he put her to sleep and it was fine. And then the next day he came in and just awful. I can't even imagine what Mooney Ward is going through right now. It's terrible. There's nothing else to say about it. It's horrible. That's it. I know everyone is saying the same thing because it is horrible, but somebody brought it up in the chat, and so I wanted to address it. I know that there have been a couple of
something similar happened to Marquise Good. Remember 7 years ago?
Yes, and he scored
a happens.
First game afterwards. I think. I did see on the. I don't want to say positive, but there are a couple people that are trying to organize either a donation to St. Jude in Amani's name, which obviously would be a great thing, and also a fan kind of thing where everybody holds up the number 2 or something as a way to recognize and honor her and show support for Mooney Ward during the next home game, which I fully get on board. Like nothing is going to solve or ease the pain that he's going through, but any show of support, I think obviously would be really cool. So if we could organize something like that, I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah. And it'd be nice if the Niners as a team could sort of rally around Trevarius right now. Like this, they've been so caught up in their own stuff. A lot of individual stuff. Like
True.
He needs you. They need each other right now. Like this is something that they can come. I mean, got no choice. This is a tragedy. Got to come together.
Instant perspective.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it is something that could work out, but obviously terrible. And yeah, that hit me hard yesterday, and I'm sure all the Niners will rally around him. Kyle apparently talked to him about it. I'm sure Lynch talked to him about it.
It hit me hard too, because like he was sort of dropping hints. He was like, something's going on. I don't want to talk about it. And he said it on the record. I'm like, what is he talking about? And I'm like, is he talking about the team? Is he talking about politics on the roster? And I'm like, oh, and when it happened, I'm like, oh, I'm such an idiot. Like, I'm thinking in such a low level drama stuff, and it's like real life. And I felt it really hit me. Like, yes, I didn't want to tweet yesterday. Like, it's just like I whiffed on that. I didn't see that. I mean, no one saw it, but it's like
Right.
he was kind of telling us. It felt like,
It's a reminder that like we don't know the other stuff that is going on in people's lives. We never
yeah,
do. You know, and he went on Eric Armstead's podcast and talked about some of the medical issues that she had when she was born, how there were two holes in her heart. And sometimes that happens and the holes close up and everything is fine. And sometimes they need to do surgery. And I guess one closed, but the other was getting bigger. So like you never know what somebody's dealing with. And obviously this is just a tragic thing that happened. And the Niners and Ward are going to have to deal with it the rest of the season.
hope he's okay.
Yes, we all do. Not that our condolences mean much, but we send them along regardless.
Between this and Ricky Pearsall, my goodness, man, it's a season.
Yeah, the
Anyway,
off-field stuff,
my goodness, man.
major off-field
Jeez.
stuff that's not
Can they
connected.
go like 2 months without having a tragic Jesus, man. This is
Yeah,
whew.
the bye
Anyway,
weeks
yeah.
certainly needed at this particular moment. So hopefully everyone works through things and rests up and gets healthy as the 49ers prepare to make a charge the rest of the way. Seems weird to talk about anything else after this. So let's just, we'll wrap it up here. We'll call it a show. Please rate, review, and follow the Gold Standard Podcast Network wherever you get your audio pods. Like and subscribe to both our YouTube channels, the Gold Standard YouTube channel and Grant's YouTube channel. I'm seeing a super chat here. Says all day, every day. Says after being shot in the chest, taking a hit going across the middle must feel like a Swedish massage. I did wonder that about Ricky Pearsall. Like, he might be like, dude, you think I'm going to be nervous about a third down play? Like, no.
Yeah, he didn't flinch when the guy flashed the gun and said, "Give me your Rolex." He was like, "No."
Right.
No, not today. Ricky,
I can't
the
even.
ultimate legend. Hey, the thing about Ricky too is like players I really like on the team, players who are like seem down to earth and cool. I mean, Shavarius Ward, everyone knows that about Shavarius. He's been on the team a couple of years. Diamador Lenore, I think people are getting to know that about Diamador. Pretty cool guy. Ricky, very cool guy. Not cool. It doesn't really describe much. He's engaging. He's conversational. He seems down to earth. Seems like everyone's friend on the team and easy to everyone wants to everyone on the media wants to talk to Ricky, so appreciate you, Ricky. Thank you for being you.
He seems incredibly likable. And hopefully he can continue to build some chemistry.
And like he takes on the responsibility of a first round pick. Like, dude, I know I'm that guy. Let's talk. I'm back. I'm here in my locker. I want to talk. He's already doing that weekly stuff. Like, respect.
I like hearing that.